Welcome to this short half-hour yoga flow where we work on just moving some energy around, taking a nice gentle stretch, and arriving in a place of grounding and stillness. Grab your mat, grab your water, and let's get going. Begin by taking a seated position on your mat, coming to your Sukhasana, cross-legged, letting the sit bones ground down towards the mat, and the spine really lift up, finding as much space as possible in the torso. As we begin and connect to the breath, arriving on the mat and into our practice, I invite you to close down the eyes or soften the gaze in front of you. The hands can come to a mudra, connecting the thumb and first finger, palms facing up for more receiving, palms facing down on the knees for more grounding. Chin mudra or Jnana mudra. Begin to simply observe your breath. Observe the state of your body and your mind as you take a few moments for yourself during this yoga practice. How does the breath feel? How does the body feel? And continuing with smooth breaths, in through the nose, out through the nose, perhaps elongating the exhalation. Slowing down the breath, the heart rate, and activating the parasympathetic nervous system. I invite you to continue with the smooth breathing or come through this breathing practice, our equalizing breath, helping us with grounding and focus in the present moment. Begin taking a full inhale, and let's all exhale together, synchronizing our breath. Inhaling through the nose for 1. Exhale for 1. Inhale for 2. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. Inhale 4. Exhale 4. Finally, inhale 5. Exhale 5. Allowing yourself to come back to a normal rhythm of breath, keeping the eyes closed for a moment as you come to set your sankalpa for your practice. This is your intention, your personal resolve, a mantra spoken in the present tense, and something to anchor your practice to, something like, I am calm, I am focused, I am energized, I am grounded. Beginning to open through the eyes as we begin to move through the asana part of our practice. If you are sat in your Sukhasana, let's go ahead and swap over the cross of the legs, taking them the opposite way round, promoting some balance here. Anchor down through the sit bones as you inhale, drawing those arms up above the head, palms facing each other. Soften those shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, reaching up. As we exhale, drop that left arm down to the floor. Right arm reaches up and over. Use the breath, particularly the exhalations, to open up through the back body, the side body, feeling the expansion through every intercostal muscle into the ribs. Inhaling back up to top, opposite side. Right arm drops down, left arm reaches up and over, taking that beautiful side stretch. Inhaling, coming back up to top. As you exhale, Taking the hands out in front of you, walking the hands forward, coming into our seated forward fold. We're going to hinge at the hips, allowing the arms to stretch out in front of us, the chin to soften towards the chest. And just taking the stretch into the back body, into the hips. Inhaling, coming back up to top. Find the length in that spine, as much space in the torso as you can. On your inhale, stretch up a little bit more energetically, or maybe just finding an extra millimeter. And as you exhale, taking that right hand across to the left knee, coming into our seated twist. The left hand can anchor down behind the base of the spine. Using our hands here for stabilization, keeping that spine nice and straight, lifted up out of our waist. We're twisting from the mid-spine, our shoulders follow, and then the gaze follows over the shoulder. On your next exhale, we're going to sweep that backhand at the base of the spine, lifting it up and reaching it over across to come across to the opposite knee. Rounding out through the back of the spine, maybe taking a slight lean back into the spine here as though we're leaning back into a hammock. Feeling that stretch down the back body. As you inhale, bending at the elbows, coming up to your Ganondasana arms, eagle arms, lifting up through the elbows, feeling the stretch into the shoulder blades at the back of the body. Exhale, release, taking your cactus arms, opening out through the chest space. Opposite side. Inhaling, sweeping both arms up towards the ceiling, palms face each other. Release the shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, taking the left arm across the body to the right knee. The right arm comes to the base of the spine, and again we're using the inhale to lengthen, the exhale to find our twist. With each breath we're continuing this energetic movement. Inhale, lifting, exhale, finding the twist. Beautiful. Let's sweep that back arm up and over, finding the opposite knee. As we tuck our chin in, rounding through the spine and taking that slight lean back, stretching through that spine and the back body. Inhale, taking your eagle arms. If you can't quite find the palms finding the bind, just bring the forearms together. Exhale, release, taking your cactus arms nice and wide, opening up through the chest space. Bringing the hands down towards the side of the body and just taking some neck rolls here, letting the chin drop, roll across the chest, taking the gaze to the opposite side. Moving slowly, with ease, and then allowing the chin to come towards the chest. So we're letting our head come forwards, tucking the chin in, and perhaps adding a little bit of assistance with the hands. Just increasing the sensation into the cervical spine, the back of the neck, releasing the neck, a place that can hold so much tension, especially when we are busy in life and we hold the stress into our shoulders. Releasing, coming back up to top, soften the shoulders down, maybe give them a little roll. And then we're going to take the left hand down towards the floor as you reach the right arm up, taking the right palm to the left ear, and then dropping the right ear down towards the right shoulder. So taking the beautiful neck stretch down the left hand side. Our hand is allowing just an extra bit of weight, just assisting gravity, so that we can get a beautiful stretch and release those muscles at the same time, so there's no clenching going on. If you feel like you still want a little bit more, walk the fingertips of the left hand a little bit further away, or even lift that left arm, shining it back and down and finding this sweet spot where we can feel a stretch into our particular areas of tension. Gently releasing, lifting the neck up, back to top, taking it over to the other side. Dropping that left ear towards the left shoulder, the left hand comes to add that assistance so that we can release the tension. Perhaps the right fingertips are walking a little bit further away, or we're lifting that palm off the ground, tying the fingers towards the earth. Maybe have a little explore here, see where you can find your yoga and what works best for you. Releasing the arms, we're going to roll forward over the knees now, arriving in our tabletop position, stacking the knees, the hips, and then stacking the wrists, elbows and shoulders, and just beginning to take our gentle cat-cow here. As we take our cat, we're dropping the belly, lifting the gaze and the chest, and stretching out the entire front body. Exhaling, pushing into the hands, rounding out through the upper back, tucking that tailbone under, and coming into our Halloween cat type shape. Taking a few more of these at your own breath, at your own pace. Really feeling that stretch into the front body, then into the back body as we move through the articulation of the spine. And then coming back to neutral, taking the gaze right and left. So just taking the gaze towards the heel of the foot. Each side, just taking a stretch down the side body. Returning back to neutral. Beginning to add some weight into the hands, adding a bit of load. So taking our active hands, our first finger is pointing forwards. We're really pushing down through the thumb and first finger. And just taking some circles here over the wrists, as though we're drawing circles with our navel. These can be big circles, little circles, whatever you feel like. Beginning to just move into the wrists. And taking it the opposite direction as well. And then turning your wrists, if it feels good, to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. If this doesn't feel good, just keep your hands pointing forwards. And then taking our weight side to side, stretching into the wrists. Perhaps taking some circles here in both directions and adjusting the amount of weight into the wrists by adjusting the size of your circle movements. So either staying here or turning the fingertips towards the knees, very gently taking the hips back towards the heels as we take a stretch down the forearms. Going easy here as we're warming up. And releasing. Pushing yourself up, coming onto your knees. We're going to come into a toe stand. So tucking the toes underneath the feet so that we're stretching out through the bottom of the foot. So option to take a block underneath the sit bones, or perhaps just take a seated stretch through the feet here. So you're adding as much weight as you wish into your toes, stretching the bottom of the foot. So as we stretch out the plantar fascia at the base of the foot, we're stretching out the entire fascial plane of the posterior body. So this can help loosen up the back body, particularly the hamstrings, the legs. And while we're here holding our toe stand, we are just going to counter stretch the wrist movements that we just did. So taking the arms out in front of us, and then drawing the fingertips towards the forearm. Counterposing on each arm. Bringing the palms back out in front of you, still holding that toe stand. We are nearly there, I promise. Reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling, bending at the elbow and taking the palm down across the back. So option to stay here, we're reaching that palm down, opening up through the shoulder and into the back of the arm. You can take your cow face arms here, finding the bind with the bottom arm, maybe holding onto the t-shirt or a strap, or just taking the left hand towards the elbow and just drawing the elbow back and down. Exhale, releasing, going over to the opposite side. So taking the left arm up, bending at the elbow, the left palm is drawing down the back. Maybe taking the right arm bent, palm comes up to find the bind. Cow face arms taking any variation using any props that you wish, or maybe just taking the fingertips towards the elbow, drawing the stretch into the arm. Exhale, release, untuck those toes, come to your tabletop position. Just counter stretch those toes however you wish, maybe taking a few toe taps, shoelace side down onto the mat. Then moving into our bear pose, tucking the toes under, engaging that core, push through the hands, and hovering those knees in our tabletop position. So really focus on using the core here to get that lift. Holding it here for 3 breaths. Exhale, release. Letting the knees and the hips stack. And just walking those hands forwards into a nice gentle puppy pose, opening out through that front body. So we're taking our chest and chin down towards the floor, opening up through the shoulders. If this isn't feeling good, only come as far as feels good for you. Perhaps take your child's pose or take the arms wider apart. Pushing into the hands and the feet, lifting up through those hips, coming into our first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So the whole purpose of our down dog is to feel that stretch into the back. So taking a generous bend into the knees, let's all lift our hips up, really reaching our hips towards the ceiling, keeping the arms super active, finding the length into the spine. As we inhale, rippling our downward facing dog forwards, finding our plank position, strong through the core. Exhale, release, find your downward facing dog. Option to pedal out through these legs if you wish. And on your next inhale, sweeping that right leg, coming into our 3-legged down dog. Really finding the length in that leg. Keeping our down dog nice and solid. Inhaling, rippling ourselves, keeping that leg lifted into our plank position, 1 leg lifted. Exhale, pushing yourself back into your 3-legged down dog. Beautiful. Stepping that right leg between the gates of the arms. And as you inhale, coming up into your high lunge. Right leg is forward, taking a bend into the front leg. Let's drop that left knee down towards the floor, finding the length in that spine again as we twist towards the bent leg, taking our arms nice and wide, taking our lunge twist. So left arm is reaching forward, our chest is open towards the long edge of the mat. Inhaling, taking a back bend here, left arm sweeps up, right arm reaches down towards the back leg. Windmilling those arms, hands frame the front foot. As we exhale, stepping ourselves back into our downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, reaching that left leg up towards the ceiling. 3-legged down dog, left leg reaches. As we exhale, rippling ourselves forward, finding our plank position, keeping that left leg lifted. And then strong push, pushing back up into our 3-legged down dog. On your next exhale, sweeping that left leg through the gates of the arms. Coming to our high lunge, inhaling. Finding your high lunge, bending through that front leg. As you exhale, drop the right knee down towards the floor. And on your next inhale, twisting towards the left hand side, opening of the arms, keeping the chest open towards the bent leg. Breathe, feel the opening of the chest here. Sweeping that right arm up, taking our back bend, left arm reaches down towards the back leg. Exhale, windmill those arms, stepping back and finding our downward facing dog. Let's take those knees nice and wide, dropping the knees to the floor and sending the hip bones back to our Balasana, child's pose. Allowing the chest to really soften towards the mat, releasing through the shoulders, letting the hips draw down towards the heels. If this doesn't feel good, feel free to add a prop between the sit bones and the heels. Maybe taking a block or raising the hands up slightly, so that we can drop the head below the triceps, just opening out through the upper back, releasing tension here. Alternatively, take the elbows to the floor and take a reverse prayer to the back of the neck. This can feel like a beautiful stretch, releasing any tension from being over a desk. On your next inhale, coming back to our tabletop position, stacking those hands, the elbows, the wrists. We're going to extend through the right leg, taking the right leg to the back of the mat, tapping the toes down towards the floor and just taking some pulses into the heel. Stretching out through the back of the leg. If you feel like you want a little bit more, keep pushing into the toes, pushing out through the back of the heel, and begin to lift that left leg to the nose. So knee to nose, using the core, using the strength in the arms. Releasing that knee back down towards the floor, lifting up through the right leg. We'll take a micro bend into the elbows, lifting up through that leg. So you can take a micro bend, lifting the leg up, or you can bring the chin, the chest, down towards the floor as you extend the right leg up into a baby three-legged down dog. Great job. Strong push brings us back up. Tap the right toe back down. Left knee reaches to the nose. Use that core. Exhale, release. Let's take one more. Right leg lifts as we bend through the elbows. Baby three-legged down dog. Maybe take some rotations into the ankle here. Strong push back up. Lifting that left knee towards the nose. Great job. Release that left knee down. We're going to kickstand the left knee out to the side. Let the left hand anchor down, coming into our half plank. So really reaching up through that right arm, keeping the chest nice and open. Inhaling, finding a bit of length here as we exhale, twisting to thread the needle underneath the left armpit. Using the core, staying nice and strong. Taking one more, thread the needle. As you inhale, drawing yourself up, lifting the torso up, both arms reach towards the ceiling, coming in towards our gate pose. As you exhale, right arm comes down the right straight leg. Inhale, coming back up to top. That right arm sweeps up and over, left hand anchors down to the floor, coming in towards our gate pose. Maybe taking a lift into the straight leg, feeling those muscles engage. Exhale, release, coming back up to top. Taking our right leg, we're going to turn the toes towards the top of the mat. So coming into a kneeling warrior two here, opening up the arms, hips and chest are open out to the long edge of the mat. Taking the gaze towards our front middle finger. And as we bend through the knee, we're going to bend through the elbows, sweeping that left arm up and over, coming to our extended kneeling warrior. Long line of energy from the tops of the fingers, reaching all the way down to the mat. Coming to our reverse warrior, rib shifting ourselves forward, sweeping that front arm up and over, and taking the gaze down towards the back and behind you towards the floor. Beautiful. Exhale, release. Wimmeling the arms to the top of the mat, straightening out through the back legs as we take it over towards the other side. So coming to your tabletop position, extending out through that left leg, taking some pulses here into the heel, stretching out through the back of the leg, and adding a little bit more, pushing into the left heel. As you bring the right knee towards the nose, use the core strength. Exhale, tapping the right knee down. As we extend through the left leg, take a micro bend into the elbows, sweeping that leg up towards the floor, baby three-legged down dog. Strong push, bringing ourselves back up, left foot taps down, right knee comes towards the nose. Knee comes down, lifting up through the left leg, taking your micro bend, a three-legged down dog. Excellent. Releasing back down. Right knee, it kickstands out towards the side. So we're taking our twist, right arm is coming towards the floor, left arm is reaching up, coming into our half plank or our side gate pose. Really reaching up through the arms, aiming to stack the shoulders, growing that wingspan, and then maybe sending that left arm overhead, really feeling the stretch from the tips of the fingers down towards the toes. Inhale, reach the left arm up to the ceiling. As we exhale, find your twist, threading it underneath the right armpit. Twisting with the core, using that strength. Inhaling, coming back up to top. As we reach the arms up, dropping the left arm down the length of the straight leg. Exhaling, reaching the right arm over. Coming back up to top. Right arm sweeps down, anchors down towards the floor. Left arm reaches up and over. Coming into our side plank variation. Perhaps lifting up through that left leg. Using the strength in the hips. Exhale, release, coming back up to top. Taking a bend through our left leg, so our toes are pointing towards the long edge of the mat. We're taking a bend towards 90 degrees in the front leg, coming to our kneeling warrior 2. Bending through the left arm, reaching the arm up and over, extended warrior. Inhaling, coming back through our warrior 2. Rib shifting forwards, left arm sweeps up and back, reverse warrior. The gaze can come down towards the floor, that right arm can wrap around the back, aiming to find the opposite hip crease. Exhale, windmilling the arms to come to the top foot, anchoring the hands down, stepping the feet back to our downward facing dog. Letting the hips soften back. Take your child's pose and take a moment to reconnect with the breath and with your intention. Holding a moment of stillness here. Exhaling, coming back to your tabletop position. We're going to take this into some more thread the needles, a bit of a balance challenge. Don't worry about the wobbles. Wobbles mean you're in your growth zone. What we're going to do is try and connect with the breath, the core, and find some stability within the wobbles. So coming to your tabletop position, anchoring down through the right hand as we reach that left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sweeping that arm underneath the right, letting the shoulder, the side of the face, come down towards the mat, threading the needle. That right arm, we're going to take slightly forward and off the mat, coming adjacent to our shoulder. And then allowing ourselves to come onto our tippy fingers. So you can take this hand, wrap it around the back and find the hip crease of the opposite hip. But if you're taking the balance, let's just try keeping that hand anchored down to the floor first. Finding that stability, softening through the shoulders. And if it feels good for you, lifting up through the right leg. Coming into our lifted thread the needle. Reaching up through that leg, engage the glutes. Exhale, release. Unthread your needle, come back to your tabletop position. Sweeping that right leg over the left and sending the hips backwards towards our child's pose. Just working into the hip space, allowing the body to soften. Opposite side, anchoring down into the left arm as we reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. Sweeping the arm underneath, threading the needle. Allowing the fingertips of the left hand to come to the floor. The right shoulders are softening and anchoring down into the mat. Taking that twist and perhaps lifting up through that left leg. The core, the glutes are strong. And releasing that leg back down towards the floor. Unthreading your needle, coming back to your tabletop position. Let that left leg sweep across the back of the right leg, again sending the hips down towards our child's pose. Let the hips soften, let everything release. Allow the chest to soften towards the mat. On your next inhale, pushing into the hands, lifting the hips and finding your downward facing dog. Let's walk our hands up towards our feet, nice and gently, as we arrive in towards our ragdoll position. So take a soft bend into the knees and really allow that chest to come towards the thighs, the head hanging super heavy, and taking hold of opposite elbows as you sway side to side. Feeling the release into the body. Taking a soft bend through the knees, peeling up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. The head is the very last thing to stack as we lift the arms up, finding our extended mountain. Taking an optional back bend here. Returning back up to top, and we're going to peel ourselves back down, back the way we came. There is no hurry. So tucking the chin in, feeling the length into the back of the spine, and just allowing gravity and the body to roll down. Coming through our ragdoll, letting the hands melt towards the earth. And beginning to walk those hands forward, back in towards our plank position. Lifting those hips up towards the ceiling, finding your downward facing dog. And allowing the feet to pedal out, the back to stretch, and taking any movements that you feel like you want to take in your down dog. We're going to transition from our down dog into our boat pose. So stepping the right foot towards the back of the left hand, the left foot towards the back of the right hand, and just allowing the sit bones to come down towards the floor. As the sit bones land, lifting the legs up into our tabletop boat. Option to straighten through the legs here if you wish. And then releasing the feet down towards the floor, peeling down through the spine, arriving on our back. Knees are bent up towards the ceiling. Just bumping the hips over towards the left hand side, letting the knees drop to the right, and allowing the arms to come in a capital T shape, and the gaze can come towards that left arm. Taking our gentle supine twist here, allowing the body to rest in towards the mat, feeling the shoulders softening, the hips, using the breath to breathe into the intercostal muscles. And then inhaling, coming back up, bringing the knees lifted back towards the ceiling. Spine and hips returning back to neutral. Bumping the hips over towards the right hand side, allowing the knees to drop towards the left. Gaze turns towards the right in the opposite direction of the knees. Allow the shoulders to soften, the breath to soften. On your next inhale, returning the knees back up to center, bumping the hips back to neutral, and taking any other movements that you feel like your body wants right now. Perhaps some more supine twists, perhaps a happy baby, a bit of compression. Just really tuning into your body and your needs before we arrive into our final Shavasana. You can come into your chosen Shavasana, perhaps coming to our traditional corpse pose, perhaps taking a seated position against the wall, or even legs up the wall. And as you are here, beginning to commit to the stillness. Letting the breath be the anchor. As the mind begins to wander, simply bringing the focus back to the breath. Recommitting to the stillness and allowing the body to absorb the benefits of the practice that you have just done. Returning to your Sankalpa, your intention. The intention you sat at the beginning, and holding that in the forefront of your mind. can stay in your Shavasana for as long as you wish. Namaste.